Hi there, I'm Kat, and this is my first ever YouTube video, and oh my gosh, that is actually so exciting. I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel for probably 6 or 8 months. I've basically, since I actually started High Carb, I've been wanting to make YouTube videos and recipe videos and just like share all the information that I have with so many different people, and looks like I finally got around to doing it. I'm not going to do a big thing about myself. If you do want to find out a little bit more about me, who I am, what I do, go visit my blog, check out my blog. There's a whole big section about me there. Otherwise, let's get started straight away. So this first video that I'm going to do is it's actually been inspired by the Save by Sugar Startup November group that I've been a part of for a while now, and I just noticed that there's a lot of questions about what happens with our blood sugar, why are fats bad for us, why is sugar so good for us, how does that whole thing actually work together, and also why do high-fat diets work for some people and not for others, and how does that all come together? So that's what I want to talk about in this video. How does blood sugar work? How does all of that come together? The first thing I actually want to talk about in this case is that in nature there's no such thing as a naturally occurring combination of fats and carbohydrates in one food source. You always get either animal products or nuts and seeds, which is all your high-fat foods. Avocados and olives would also count into that category of foods, or you get stuff like your fruits and your root vegetables, some other high carbohydrate vegetables as well, and those are all high in sugar, but they aren't very high in fat. So in nature, the combination of fats and carbohydrates in one food is completely unnatural. But now when you look at the modern diet, basically every single modern food contains fats and carbohydrates in probably about a 50-50 mixture. I mean, if you look at fries, that's potatoes and oil. If you look at, well, chips is the same thing. If you look at modern desserts, it's usually a lot of butter and oil and eggs with a whole lot of sugar and flour. So that's again that fat and carbohydrate combination. Or you get, well, most modern foods, I mean, pasta is made with a lot of oil. All those things are basically such a non-ideal combination for us, and the reason why it's not ideal and the reason why it doesn't occur together in nature is because these two categories of foods, the fats and the carbohydrates, digest completely differently, and they're also metabolized completely differently in our bodies. So for fats and for proteins as well, for that matter, for fats we need a very high stomach acid, so our stomach needs to be very, very acidic, and they're a lot more complex to break down, so the food stays in our stomach for a lot longer. Whereas carbohydrate-rich foods are, even though they're quite high in fiber, they don't need very much stomach acid. So they don't have to stay in the stomach for that long, and that's why when we eat fats and carbohydrates together in one single food, or even together in one meal, it wreaks all kind of havoc on our system, because it just doesn't get digested well together, because it uses different enzymes, different level of stomach acid, different digestion times, so it just doesn't work together at all. The next problem with eating fats and carbohydrates together actually occurs once everything has been absorbed into the bloodstream. So your fats and your carbohydrates are now in your bloodstream, and they're trying to be absorbed into the cells. Now fat works like an insulator. So the fat insulates your blood vessels, which means that it inhibits the function of insulin. Insulin is the little hormone that opens the cells in order to let in all the glucose. So when you have a high blood sugar level, the pancreas produces insulin, and then the cells open and the sugar can go into the cells and your blood sugar lowers. And then everything's fine. You've got energy in your cells, you've got no more high blood sugar, which can actually be lethal if your blood sugar gets too high. Everything is fine. But now when your blood vessels are insulated by all the fat that you're eating, which can actually stay into your bloodstream for up to 24 hours after you've actually eaten it, the insulin doesn't function properly anymore, because the blood vessels are insulated by the fat and the sugar can't go into the cells. So the blood sugar remains high. So because the blood sugar is still high, the pancreas has to produce more insulin, which in the long run can actually lead to pancreatic exhaustion, because it's that whole insulin insensitivity thing that we talk about when we're talking about diabetes and all that stuff, or precursors for diabetes. And the problem with this is that the body now says, okay, I can't get the sugar into the cells. What am I going to do? I'll store it away for later, because then I'll turn it into fat, I'll store it away for later, and then I can use it once everything else is cleared up, once there's no more drama over here. So your body stores away all the sugars as fat, but your cells now have no energy. Okay, so now once the fat is actually out of your cells, all the insulin actually suddenly starts working, and then you have that blood sugar dip because there's so much insulin, but there's not enough sugar all of a sudden to account for that insulin. So you get so much sugar into your cells, you get so little sugar in your blood vessels actually that you have that sugar low. That's basically what happens when you eat fats and sugars together at the same time, is that whole natural mechanism which is created by nature, because like I said, in nature there's no naturally occurring combination of fats and carbohydrates. So nature didn't really design a very clever system for us to deal with the fact that we might actually be eating fats and carbohydrates together in one big fat meal. So nature does the best it can, our body copes as best as it can, but it's absolutely not ideal. So most modern diets, or the fad diets, let's call them that for now, stuff like your high-fat diets, your paleo diets, even Atkins, and also our high-carb diet now, what they do is they focus on one group of macronutrients. So it's either the fat or the sugar. And this seems to work really well, because there's a lot of people having really amazing successes on the high-fat diet. Now, completely irrelevant of whether it's animal products or whether it's completely vegan or whether it's refined foods or whole foods. Let's just leave that out for the time being. But the reason why a high-fat diet works is because you're taking out one of those problem groups, because when they're combined, they really cause a problem. So you're taking out the sugar, so you only have to deal with the fat. So what the body does, it goes into ketosis, so it uses the fat for energy. And then you've got your energy, because you're supplying fat in copious amounts, and your body can create energy from that, and you actually have no problem. And fat and protein actually use quite a bit more water to digest, so you actually have that lean, you actually do get that lean muscular look, especially if you're exercising a lot at the same time. You will actually get that lean muscular look from a high-fat diet, because your body's taking all the water in order to digest what you're actually eating. Now the problem with the high-fat diet is, first of all, with the animal products, the cholesterol and the protein is just not good for your digestion, or for your arteries and your blood vessels for that matter. Protein will clog up your digestive system, so will large amounts of fat in the long run, because it just takes a lot longer to digest. It has usually no fiber. Animal products contain no fiber, so it'll take you a lot longer to digest. And the problem is also that during ketosis, so the state where your body burns fat for energy, you actually are creating acidic byproducts. So your body becomes more acidic through the foods that you're eating. With the high carbohydrate diet, on the other hand, if you look at high carbohydrate foods, they're generally very, very rich in nutrients. I mean, this is what everyone is saying, is we need to eat more nutrient-dense foods. Regardless of the calories, we need to eat nutrient-dense foods. So that is what high carbohydrate foods can actually give us. I mean, fruit and vegetables have so many nutrients, the phytonutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, everything's in there that we could ever need. Whereas animal products have maybe a few minerals, maybe a little bit of vitamin A and E, and vitamin B12, and that's basically where it ends. There's not that many nutrients in animal foods, or even in nuts and seeds. There's maybe a few minerals, but there's not that much of the vitamins and phytonutrients that we actually want in our diet. So that is why high carbohydrate foods are so much more ideal. Also, high carbohydrate foods are generally, if we're not talking about now processed wheat products and white rice, and even potatoes are acidifying, unfortunately, but fruits and vegetables make your body more alkaline. So they make your body healthier, and they help your body deal with toxic waste. So it's absolutely the ideal diet for supporting our bodies. So that's just the difference between the high fat and the high carbohydrate diet, and both of them basically work on leaving out one source of macronutrients. Whichever one you end up choosing, whether either it works for you or it doesn't. So that's basically it. I don't know how long this was now, probably a bit long for a first video, and already some pretty intense subject matter actually. Yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you like it, please give me a big thumbs up. Have a look at my blog, which I mentioned earlier already. Have a look at my blog, follow, subscribe, and follow me on Facebook as well if you want to get more updates, and leave a comment. I would really love to hear what you thought of this video, what I can improve, what you enjoyed, what maybe wasn't so good. Just let me know down below. I'll put a link to my blog down below so you can get right over there, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you.